Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to another episode of Intuitive Creator Spotlight. Here, I invite amazing guests who are sharing their stories with us because I truly believe that every story is inspiring, is healing, is helping us see what else is possible to do in this world. And there is always something new for us to learn. Today, we have a remarkable soul with us here, Ron. Ron has a powerful story of resilience, hope, and finding purpose after a stroke. Ron has found the strength and determination to go through life after a moment that really turned everything upside down. Welcome, Ron. I'm so happy to have you here with us.
Thank you very much for having me here, and I'm super excited and happy to be here as well.
Yeah, it's really an honor. Let's just start by telling everyone what is written in your background, because I'm also curious. I see just the first part, and what does that mean to you?
When
That
you want it, like you want it bad enough, like you want to breathe. It's Eric Thomas quote that saying that you if you want success, you want it like you want to breathe. Okay, everybody wants to breathe. Okay, because you die if you don't breathe. So you want to have success like you want to breathe. Okay, and when he says this, unfortunately I can't convey it the way he does because when he says it, when first heard this, it was so powerful, and I was just like, "Who is this guy?" I didn't even know who he was. I finally found out 2 months later, but I kept listening to him like, wow, this guy is just the way his message, and it wasn't just the way he said it was just the way he said it just spoke to me, and it was just like, wow, it's so powerful. And I heard it again, and I was like, who is that? And people said, oh, it's Eric Thomas. I'm like, thank you. I looked him up on YouTube and stuff, and then I just made this picture of me with that quote on there. I think I put on the bottom Eric Thomas. Um, but yeah, I just love that quote. I mean, there's many quotes I love. I mean, like any quote from Jim Rohn, just about. But I don't know. It's so powerful,
Mhm.
and I'm all about people and trying to empower people and telling people that if you believe it, you are unstoppable. You can do anything you want to do. The only one who's stopping you from doing it is you. And I'm
Mhm.
so into doing that, and so I just felt like this quote encompasses that mindset, and that's what I'm all about. Like the other day when we were asked to pick our word for this year, and I chose unstoppable. I mean, I first really started listening and paying attention to that word when John Asrath kept saying it in his webinars, and then in his Inner Size app that I bought. So yeah,
Mhm.
I absolutely just fell in love with the word unstoppable and being called unstoppable. And I was saying it a lot to people, and I was saying it to them, but
Mhm.
also saying it to myself at the same time, you know.
Mm.
And
You are unstoppable because you every single day I see you learning, sharing your knowledge with people, really tapping into what is going on in the world, trying your very best to help and be there present, enjoying every single moment. And you are an inspiration to me, and I'm sure that you are a great inspiration to many people who come into your space. Now, I know that you have been through a moment of experiencing a stroke, and that story is also incredibly inspiring. How did that moment shape or transformed your perspective on life?
well, okay, so when I first had the stroke, my initial thoughts were thank thank God's I'm alive, and a lot of people have the opposite thought. Lots of people have the opposite thought. Um, then I was pretty miserable in the hospital I was in. It was a really bad hospital. Still happy to be alive. I wanted to get the heck out of there. And so once I finally got out of there and was able to walk again, because I ended up I had a second stroke in the hospital, and the second stroke made it so I couldn't walk anymore. My left arm I couldn't use anymore. I was able to use it all that with the first stroke, but the second one was way worse. And I'm not even sure why I had the second one because I was nice and calm in the hospital. I was on my laptop and talking to people and having somewhat fun. I was still in the hospital, but I was entertained, and I went to sleep and had another stroke. So I don't even know what the heck happened. But when I finally got out, I just realized that I was a lot more content, and I spent most of my life miserable, really, really miserable. I hated what I did, absolutely hated it. But also, I was stubborn my whole life, and I hated change. Absolutely hated change to the point that I refused to change. Now I was looking for something else, but I was looking. I wasn't really, really looking. I mean, I was looking, one a few couple interviews here and there, but if you really want to change, you got to really change. And like Jim Rohn says, if you don't change, nothing changes.
Mm.
And it sounds simple, and it is simple, but lots of people just don't do that. And that's the thing. And I didn't. I was completely stubborn. I refused. The universe said, you need change, and you're not going to do it. And it gave me a stroke. Okay. It gave me a stroke. I was so stubborn, I had to get a stroke to change. And that's stubborn. I was born the year of the ox, so I'm a Taurus, so I'm just full of bull.
So would you say that this is the biggest thing that happened? Say if you think about your life before the stroke and life after stroke, would you say that this is the biggest thing that you embraced? The openness to change? Is this the
Yeah.
biggest thing, or would you say there are some other important factors that you decided to embrace afterwards?
I mean, obviously, when I found out my ex was pregnant and I was having a daughter, that pushed me to make some changes. Um, and then long story short, I ended up not being in her life for 23 years, and that really wasn't my decision. And I could have done something about it at the time, but at the time that I could, I didn't. I got let someone talk me out of it, which I regret every single moment since. I finally reconnected with her somewhat now. Um, but yeah, so I did that helped shape me somewhat, but definitely the stroke shaped me more. Now, I wasn't a positive person yet after the stroke, but I was content, which I'd never
Mm,
been content. I always said that I was a realist, and sometimes I'm on the negative side, but I was really more negative than I was even being realist. I was lying to myself, 100%. And I also said that I was always open-minded to things, and I was to some things, but not everything. Like my religion, I'm totally open-minded, and things that I love, I'm totally open-minded about. But when it came to like motivation, I'm like, that's hokum. That was my word I used. It's hokum. I don't believe in that crap I always said. That was what I said all the time. And I believed that. I don't know why, because even my religion is all about motivation and things like that and everything. So it's funny that that's what I thought. And I always had my favorite saying then. I still love it. Is that the mind is like a parachute, it only works when open. You
mm,
know, I seen
yeah.
that quote once. I just started using it all the time. And I loved it. And it's so true, but my mind wasn't open. I thought it was, but my
Yeah.
mind wasn't open as much as I thought it was. I mean, it's open way more now, and I know it's still not open to everything, but it's way more open than it ever was before.
Mm,
And it takes reflection and everything. I've had plenty of time to reflect on things. I spent my time playing video games, watching TV, watching movies, reading Star Wars books, and a lot of it doing it at the same time because I'm a multitasker. I mean, they always say, "Oh, man can't multitask." That's not true. I am a huge multitasker. I'll take any woman on and I'll beat them. Okay.
You
I,
know you would because you're amazing at that. I sometimes I think, how do you have so much time? But clearly you have your own strategies, right, to make it happen.
I'm still trying to work it down to be able to because I get the Dave from Legendary says scoliosis. When you go on you go on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and you start scrolling. Now I gotta go on these things for my business. I do have to engage in people's stuff. Okay, so it's not 100% I'm just doing stuff to do stuff, right? So it is part of my business, but I end up spending way too long on that. I end up spending way too, like everybody does, you spend too long and I don't get things done that I wanted to get done. And now you'd say to combat that is a schedule. Unfortunately for me, schedules do not work for me.
Mm-hmm.
Checklists work. A checklist is better for me because at least I see what needs to get done and then can fit it in where I can fit it in. That's just my style. But the great thing is my business and my schooling, I'm in college, both online, both all up to me, so I can do it when I want, so I can reschedule things around what I got to do. If I got this interview today, or I'm talking to someone else, or I have to talk to, or I'm going live, whatever. It's all things that I can schedule around the other things I can do. So, memberships I'm in, they don't have specific times. And yeah, they have trainings, but of course, there's always recordings. I'm not the greatest at watching a recording.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I really try to show up alive. Plus, I love the energy of alive.
Yeah, it's
Love the
different.
energy of alive. I missed your last mastermind. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know it. And I was so annoyed that I missed it because, of course, I haven't seen the replay, but I really want to, even if I didn't ask you a question, just hearing other people ask and what you tell them, you get so much benefit. That's why I always, Jesse's mastermind, I always sit there the entire time, even no matter when my question was answered, you know, I
Mm.
sit there the entire time and I listen to every
Mm.
single answer that she gives because, someone might have the same question you have or a question you didn't even know you had.
Yeah,
And,
true,
and, and they're
true.
like, oh, I mean, that's happened so many times, and I absolutely love that, and I love the way you run it. You run it just like Desi does, and everyone, it's so great that everyone models it because her membership is so awesome, and you learn from her and you're modeling it towards her. And I know that my membership is going to be like that, even though it's not quite Desi teaching me. Um, I'm still, it's gonna be like that because that's exactly what I want. I want that community. When she said there's, the different types of memberships there are, I said I'm gonna have a community and an expert. I'm gonna have the other. I'm put myself as the expert because it's gonna be my set on for stroke survivors. Eventually, I'm gonna push into other areas of people that need help in health areas because I know that I'm going to be able to help them with mindset. It doesn't matter what they had, but I want to start with where I have the most expertise in, and that, of
Mm.
course, is stroke. So, and they need that. They desperately need that, and I see that in the groups that I go in, and I talk to them, and I've been going in, and I've been posting mindset things and being positive. And last one I posted, I had like 30 something people commenting. I don't get that much comments on anything I post usually, but I had lots of people posting, and a lot of them were either saying, I agree or thank you.
That's beautiful. And you know
Um,
what's interesting? How you shared that you've been through a time where you didn't really want to embrace the idea of like motivation in general. But
yeah.
isn't this really interesting how sometimes we may be resistant to looking at something that will remind us of something that we have within us because you are a great motivator yourself. You help others and you motivate others, but sometimes we may be so resistant at looking at those things until you have an aha moment or a specific type of experience, and they'll be, oh, okay, so that's where it was. So I know, Ron, that you motivate people, you inspire people through your posts on social media, through your videos. And I also know that you do that through your business as well. I also remember you shared this, that your intention is to help families with children. So what would you say is something that brings you the biggest joy when you think about your work and how you help others?
Um, just the way that I can help someone be able to quit their work and still have the money that they need to be able to care for the kids and be there to see their kids. Okay. It all stems back to them needing to get rid of that 9 to 5 job, but probably way more hours than 9 to 5, but we all call it that. I work 80 hours a week and 90 hours a week myself. So, um, and there's people that have full-time jobs or two full-time jobs, I'm saying, and so they never see their kids, but they're trying to provide for them. And of course, they never get ahead because no one does, and especially now is even worse than it's ever been. And so, for me to be able to offer them something that all they have to do is be able to eh, invest in themselves, and it's really a small amount, and they invest in themselves, and all they have to do is they have to have the mindset, because everything is mindset, okay? But especially in entrepreneur, when you're setting a business, 80% of the work is mindset, 10% action, 10% knowledge. That's it. 10% knowledge, 10% action. I used to always believe the saying, knowledge is power. It's false. I I was lied to. We were all lied to. My entire life, I believe this. I was always knowledge first, and it's missing a component, and that's knowledge plus action equals power. And I was never an action taker. I never took action in things. I always thought I was an overthinker my entire life, but that's why I was so always stuck in that same horrible spot that I was always in, whether I was a delivery driver or a cab driver or whatever, because I never took the action to get out of the situations I was in, and even when I knew I should, I knew better, but I didn't. I always considered myself a smart person, but it doesn't matter how smart you are. If you don't take action upon that, then you may as well just be stupid. you know
Yeah, and it's fantastic to kind of bring into your awareness that you do have the capacity, the intelligence, the fact that you can absorb information. But then, like you said, at some point, if you don't take those steps forward, you may feel like you're sitting on a big, beautiful treasure chest full of so much incredible stuff. And it's all about, okay, let's open that treasure chest. Let's look at everything. Let's try and decide what to do with every piece of what's there, what you've created or learned from other people. And yeah, Ron, I know that you constantly learn new things and you constantly look for new ways of improving your life and other people's lives as well. But at the same time, I know that for you, the importance of a community is really like they are one of maybe the first things that you really talk about, and you always share how important that is for you. So if you would think about all the people who have survived a stroke, why would you say a community, a supportive community, would be important for them? Just in case they're thinking, oh, I don't need it, I can deal with it on my own. What would you say to them?
No, no one can deal with it by themselves. Not a stroke. Not. I mean, everybody needs. I mean, especially if there's a lot of things that people need a support system for. A stroke is 100%. If I didn't have a support system, you know, and it was a very small support system. I didn't really have a support system with other stroke people. Okay, I didn't have like-minded people around me with that, which I think would have helped even more. I think I probably would have been inspired to get more out of my left hand than I have had. And again, that was my fault for not motivating myself more to do it. But I can now pass that knowledge down to other people, and help them and push them to do what I didn't do, and to push them to learn. So yeah, you 100% need this, and you can say you don't, and that's fine, okay? And I'll have to just find a way to sell you what you want and then give you what you need, because that's what
Mm,
it's all about. Okay, because I know you need this. You may not know you need this. Some people they know they need that's why they're in the Facebook groups, right?
right.
But the problem with the Facebook groups is you write a post here and there, and you don't wait a while, and it's not as interactive as a membership can be, as a community can be. Yeah, you can have a community on Facebook as well, but this community is definitely not that. I mean, this particular one has people constantly putting in ads in there. Oh, we'll cure your stroke. I'm like, stroke's not a disease. It's something that happened once.
Yes.
Yeah, there's things that need to get fixed, but it's not a cure, and there can't be a cure. And so there's like no moderators, and they just allow whatever. And it's like, wow. and there's quite a few stroke Facebooks that are like that. There's other ones that are strict as heck. Like, even if
Mm.
it helps people, you can't tell them, like the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
like that. I was like, I have things that can help people, but how, what can I do to tell them without it being like salesy and everything, without getting in trouble with you guys, because I was still new to marketing, so I didn't quite know how to do that. And um, it's just skills that you learn, right? And that's why I'm trying to learn everything I can, but I'm also, I mean, I would love to binge and just learn and learn and learn about things, and I have tons and tons of stuff to learn with so many different memberships and everything, and books and tons of books I bought physically and I have on my computer. So much information I could pile, and I could totally binge stuff because I love binging things. But then I want to be taking action, and
Mhm.
now that I know the key is knowledge plus action, I can't do it anymore. I can't just pile all that knowledge in anymore and not take action. So I have to take action. So I'm slow with learning things because I'm stopping to take that down action. Sometimes the action takes me a little bit longer than it might take another person because I have to think about what I learned and then try to take the action for what I learned. But the most important thing is to take action. Do it messy. Okay. Do it messy. It's not going to be perfect. It'll never be perfect because guess what? You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Stop trying to be perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Practice doesn't make perfect at all. That saying was a lie. Okay. It is a lie. I'll tell you right now, it's a lie. Okay. Practice does not make perfect. Okay.
Yes,
And
absolutely. I had a mentor, one of my mentors in the past said, like, practice doesn't make it perfect, it makes it permanent, which absolutely.
thank you.
Yeah. And that's it really, because once you start taking the action, you take the first step, the second, the third, and then you realize that this is a journey. Some of the things may not like turn out in the way that you expected, but then you try again and it's permanent. You embrace these things. I know, Ron, that in your post you mentioned that surviving a stroke is really a gift.
Yes. That's the
Why
love.
why would you say, why do you feel that this is a gift for you and for your life and for people in your life as well?
Well, in general, speaking for anyone that had a stroke, you get a second chance to live because the stroke can kill you or worse. I mean, and I say like being completely paralyzed, I would feel that's worse. As much as I was happy that I was alive, I would not like that would be worse for me. I'm not saying everybody would feel that way, but for me, that would be if I couldn't talk or if I couldn't move at all, that would have been worse than not making it. But having that second chance, it was like I have a second chance, and I'm like I'm not gonna blow it by being miserable, and I wasn't like I said I was content. I wasn't happy per se, but I was content, you know. And then I finally found happiness once I found affiliate marketing and realized I could change people's lives. It didn't work too well, but it led me to digital marketing where I finally got some success, where I finally realized this is the place that I needed to be. And it gave me, not only did it give me something to do because I was really bored after like 11 and a half years of just having fun, I got bored as heck. With no challenge in my life, I was bored, you know, and I finally was not only have something to do, but I have a purpose. I'm like, people spend their whole lives and never find their purpose of why they're here. Everyone asks, why are we here? Why are we born? And all this. This is like the biggest thing in the world. There was a joke saying 42, which is from a movie, science fiction movie, right? That's the answer to why we're here, 42. But I found it for me. I found my purpose. My purpose is to help other people. My purpose is to help my family. My purpose is to help other families. My purpose is to start a children's charity. This is something I actually adopted from someone else. I was thinking about all the other things, and then she said this, we should start a charity, and I started thinking about it, and I started thinking about children, and that's a charity I want. Yes, there's so many great charities out there that you could give to. I mean, I could give for strokes. I'm also diabetic. I could give diabetes. I could give for juvenile diabetes. All that. But I wanted to build one There's actually a charity like it that I have given money to, SOS, and I want to build one just like that. And what it is it not only helps the children have a roof over their head, food in the stomach, clothes on the back, but it helps them be a kid. They helps them be a kid because they help if they help if a parent is still alive, well, both parents are alive, but they're struggling, they help the family stay together. They help them. Okay, they don't just take the kid away like 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 the government does. Or, they keep them together. They here give them things they need so they can survive and thrive together. Okay, and then when the girl that I had adopted was helping. She was 11 years old, which is she was born the year I had my stroke, which I just think is just the biggest coincidence in the world, or maybe not a coincidence. It was just supposed to happen because
Wow.
she was born the year I had a stroke, the year that my life completely changed. So like I was kind of reborn. She was born, and she lost both her parents. She had her siblings, and they went, and their foster mother took her and her siblings. They didn't split the kids up. They took them all, and and with money that I sent, not only did it help her with food and all the other stuff, but they you can gift them you can gift them presents like bikes and toys and balls and things like that, like just stuff to be a kid. Like they've seen so much horrible crap. Like I'm not sure how our parents passed away, but I can't imagine both my parents dying at such a young age. Both my parents are gone now, but I'm 51, so it's a little bit different than being a kid and losing both of your parents like that. And I can't imagine what she went through, but she has her family there, and kids are resilient, and I've seen pictures of her, and she's smiling and she's happy and she's playing with her siblings, and that brought the biggest smile to my heart. And I said, that's what I want to create. And also I want to make sure like that charity and when I make that helps kids not just in other countries, but here in the US. Because as much as people need help in other countries, they definitely need the help here in the US. You don't hear about it enough of the always you see on TV about Africa and all these other countries. I'm not saying they don't need help, they do. But hey, there's kids here in the United States that need help too. So let's not forget them. Never, don't forget any children anywhere in the world. And that's why I resonated with this charity. I was like, this is the charity I love, and this is the charity I want to model my charity after. And I just want to create my own charity for the kids. And that's what I feel like I've been put on this earth to do for the charity and to help as many families as I can. I want to help 1,000 families this year. That's my goal is to help 1,000 families this year gain some kind of monetary, financial gain or some kind of time gain or whatever success looks for them because everyone's different. Like, some people an extra $500,000 a month would change their lives completely. And most people in America now, an extra $1,000 to $2,000 would completely change their life and they'd be happy. Some people want more than that, and that's great to want. Want as much as you want because this world is full of abundance. It really is. And money is just a resource like dirt and water. You just have to tap into that and realize that. And once you realize that it's just a resource, you can turn the faucet on and it's never stopping. The key is learning how to turn it on because it isn't easy to turn on water. It is, but it's all in your mind. It's all in how you think and how you yeah, it's all about how you think. Everyone always heard of the term "you're your own worst enemy," and it's 100% true. Now, when you were talking about that, the treasures, and right, and things like that, my first thought is there's a dragon sitting on them because I love dragons, I love
Yeah.
treasures. But you know what? There is a dragon sitting on that treasure, but that dragon is really you. That's yourself. You're that dragon. You're sitting there protecting that treasure from yourself because you we are born with the flight or flight. Okay, it used to come from us running away from saber-tooth tigers and dinosaurs or whatever, right? It used to come from that. Okay, now thank goodness we don't have to run away from that, but it doesn't mean there isn't other things out there that can hurt us. But if we never take any chances, nothing will ever happen. You'll just live your life oh, well, you live your life, nothing ever happened. Good
Mm.
or bad, because you never took a chance on it. You never took a chance on anything because you listen to that your head saying you can't do that. Well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if it doesn't happen? What if you start a business and you become a huge success? Every what if thing your head tells you, you can fire it back with what if the opposite. And that's why every negative thought you have, because everyone's going to have negative thought, no matter who you are. Tony Robbins has negative thoughts. I guarantee it. Okay. And
Yeah.
everybody knows how big of a motivator he is because your mind just automatically thinks that. But it doesn't have to stay that way. The second you think that negative thought, you can flip that negative thought around to a positive because every negative, no matter how bad it is, can be a positive. My mom passed away from COVID. Okay. I know she's not suffering anymore.
Mm.
So that's the worst thing that ever happened to me, my mom passing away from COVID. But the positive spin on it is she's not suffering anymore, you know.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, then I had that spin on it, and that
Mm.
was before I was in the mindset or anything. So um,
It
yeah,
is truly an ability, and I think all of us can cultivate this ability in us to alchemize these energies around us. And if something feels heavy or draining, yes, we can take a look at, is it for me? Can I, continue to have it and shift it? Yes, there are moments when we have to decide when an experience or certain things are no longer for us, but when we go through those emotions, through those talks in our mind, we can absolutely shift them, as you said. And what I love about what you just expressed to us is that you shared how not only that you gave yourself another chance at life, but you opened up to everything that you are here to share with the world, and how beautiful that is, because there are so many studies that prove that we feel much more happiness when we give something, when we share something with people, than when we receive. Yes, we receive happiness when we get something too, but at a soul, at a heart level, we are more, um, you know, emotionally happy, or however you want to phrase it, when we give. This really brings us a lot of joy. So, on this note, Ron, as we're wrapping up this episode, what would you like to share with everybody who's watching us? Any thoughts, any quotes, anything that you wanted to share with our viewers? What would that be? What would that message be?
oh, I just want to say first, I want to answer what you said about giver. I've been a giver my whole life. Every time, like Christmas time, I got so like I mean, always when I was a kid, it was more, ooh, I get gifts, I get gifts. But as I got older, as a teenager and stuff, I got so excited to got gifts from my mother or my sister or gifts for other people, and I would get so excited, and I'd buy it, and I wouldn't even want to wrap it. I wanted to give them right then because I was so excited for them to get the present. I felt like I was probably more excited than they were to
Yeah.
give than to get it. I still feel that way when I get something from my daughter or my grandson, because I always try to put as much thought into a gift for someone. It doesn't matter how much money you can spend on it. It has nothing to do with that. It's always the thought that counts, and it's 100% true. You can spend $10,000, but had no thought into it. That doesn't mean as much as something that you can spend $5 on, or something that you can make yourself. As
Yeah.
long as that is meaningful to that person,
Hmm.
then that is the best gift you can give to someone. And wrapping this up, I would like to say to everybody, anything is possible, and you are unstoppable. And
Hmm.
that's my final thing to say.
Oh, I love that. That's your word, and it's so aligned with who you are and what you're doing. You are unstoppable, and I'm so grateful that you recorded this interview with me here today, Ron. To everyone who's watching, please check out the description of this video. You will find out how you can connect with Ron and myself. Ron is also on other social media platforms and online, and I'll drop the links so that you can go and connect with him, because His mission, his purpose is beautiful. And if you resonate with his story, make sure to get in contact with him. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.